Another live stream. I'm gonna be drawing sketch cards. So I have a pack of sketch cards. There's like 20 cards here, and I'm gonna try to do 5 minutes per card of artwork. Someone commissioned me to do like a pack of these, and there's like 20 of them. And the cards looks like this, and I'm just gonna start drawing and sketching, and I'm gonna start inking it. Again, I'm gonna try to limit it to less than 5 minutes each. So this one, I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit closer, get a better angle. Okay, this one I'm gonna start sketching the Joker. Joker, based on a cover by Batman that Bill Sienkiewicz drew. So here's sketching the head. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask, and I'm more than happy to tell stories about working in the comic book industry and who I met and things like that. This one has Batman's sword impaling Joker. So here's the detail of this sword, and I'm just sketching everything in with basic shapes first. And this is the Joker. I'm gonna sketch his hair, okay, and find out where the eye level is. And here's the mouth, and here's his lapel, and here's his arm, okay. And want to make that Batman logo apparent. Okay, for those of you who are joining me, thank you for joining me on this live stream. And we're gonna start drawing things in the front first. So I'm gonna turn this upside down and just start drawing Batman's logo on his sword. This is the bottom of the handle here, and then just more here. Okay, turn this back around and continue drawing the hilt of the sword. Okay. So I did a live stream yesterday, and there was a few people who joined in and asked me questions, and I would just respond to them, and I would respond to every question that's answered. And then in the meantime, I would just tell stories. So if any of you guys have a question, hi Princess Chameleon, good to see you again. It's been a while. Hope you're still doing artwork and creating art, because I remember you as like a really talented artist. How long has it been? Like more than 10 years. Like you were in one of my first earlier classes, I think. Okay, and then I'm going to start drawing the Joker's face. Okay, and Joker's grin. Let me move this a little bit higher. Hi, Mondo. Hi, Mighty R. Haven't seen you in a while, my friend. Been working like crazy. Yeah, I haven't been online in social media that much because I've been so busy. But I'm doing these commissions right now for these cards, and I figure since I'm going to draw them, might as well just stream them instead of going live on working on things that's like gonna be published or whatever. I figure I'm just gonna do these commissions, and anytime I have to do commission, just go live and just do the commissions. So I'll have more content up there. Okay, I'm just gonna draw his teeth. Okay, and here's the Joker's ears. And then we're gonna make some of this here and some lines, and then we're gonna give Joker's hair. Okay, who were some of your favorite artists while learning to draw? Music House's question. Some of my favorite artists. I remember before I even knew what an artist was, I was studying artwork in comic books, and it was Arthur Adams, and I didn't know his name. I just gravitate towards his art style. So when I found out that he was one of the artists in the comic book store that I worked with, it was kind of nice. But I always liked his artwork. And I remember when I was younger, I was trying to mimic his art style. I was penciling and inking my own stuff, trying to look like his work. So he's one of the art styles that I like. Even before then, I remember some of the older artists. I remember my parents used to buy me these comic books, Superman pocketbooks, and I didn't know who the artist at the time was. I didn't really keep track of artists. And one of the artists that I know now was, his name is Kurt Swan, who did some Superman, and that's another artist that I looked at. One of the questions was from Princess Chameleon. When did you want to become a comic book artist? I didn't actually want to be a comic book artist until after I graduated college, maybe a year after graduating college. And this is a great story. So I've always read comic books and I've always purchased comic books when I was a kid and when I was younger, but I never thought about being a comic book. I went to school at San Francisco State University, and I wanted to be doing some kind of artwork in like for a business, maybe a designer or package designer or logo designer, something similar. So when I went to school and I graduated with a degree in marketing, business marketing, thinking that I'm going to go into package design. But while I was doing that, I was also working at the bank, Wells Fargo Bank. And when doing so, I decided, I collect comics, and then going to a comic book store where Arthur Adams was working, he was drawing comic books. That's the first time I discovered that someone actually working comic books. He was sending FedEx packages to Marvel, and I asked him what that was, and then it was like he said, I'm sending stuff to Marvel. So, people draw comic books. I mean, I knew comic books was there, but I didn't know people drew comic books. So I started asking him, and then he gave me some photocopies of his work, and I saw some of his work, and I started practicing, and that's how I started doing inking stuff, some of the samples, and that's when I decided I think I'm gonna go into becoming a comic book artist. And at the time, there used to be this magazine called Wizard Magazine, where they were like interview artists and talk about what projects they're working on, and then that's when I started thinking I really want to become a comic book artist. And then when I was working at the bank at Wells Fargo Bank, I gave myself a year to see if I can actually get work as a comic book artist, and within a year I actually got work. So that was pretty happy about that. So we add more detail with a white pen, just adding some scribbles over here. There, and there goes the Joker. Let me see if there's any other questions. Commissions are great. When did you want to become a comic book artist? Love art, and he keeps getting better. Yes, he's like wine. The older it gets, the better it is. That's a great idea. Doing commissions on YouTube, two-person ones. So yes, Mighty R. That's what I thought. What pens do you favor? Armando say, what pens are your favorite? What brands of indie ink do you use? I'm going to show you all the indie inks that I use. So the first one that I use is this one. This is, let me see if I could not spill it. This is Speedball Super Black. Anytime I'm using a brush, I'll use this one. Okay. And then another brand of ink I use, I actually have 3 brands of ink on my table. And another brand I use is this one. This is Higgins Black Magic. So for Higgins Black Magic, I use this with a quill. So I use a quill to when I use this brand of ink. And then the other brand of ink I use is, let me grab it. Where is it? Okay, it's a Color Universal ink. Well, I have the white one, but let me show you kind of the same brand. This is the white ink, okay? But they also make this in black. I don't know where the bottle is. I have to find it. So it's Repeatograph Universal ink. I use this for my Repeatograph pins. So Repeatograph pins are pins such as these pins over here. I'll refill these pins with the Repeatograph ink. And then when I'm inking with this type of this ink, I'm using these pins over here. I'm using these crow quills. Crow quills is where you're dipping the quill in there to get ink. I find that this ink is a little bit thicker and it holds a little bit better. And then when I'm using the Speedball ink, which is this brand of ink here with a little bottle here, this is when I'm using the brush to dip in there. So this is the brush. Now, a lot of people have asked, do you fill this barrel with ink? I don't fill the barrel with ink. So this is actually a watercolor brush pen, and usually people will just fill this with water, and then they'll just squeeze the water, and then when they're drawing with watercolor pencils, they'll draw watercolor pencils, and they'll squeeze the barrel and water come out. I'll just use this, and I'll dip it in ink, and then I'll just use it to like do the inking like this. I don't fill it because if you fill it and you're using it, sometimes ink will come out like way too much, and then you're like overflowing. Okay, so the next sketch card, hopefully that was 5 minutes. So the next sketch card is this one here. I'm going to draw Black Adam, The Rock. He's going to be playing the Black Adam. Let me see if there's any other questions that I can answer while doing this. See, what pen's your favorite? You draw that really fast. Amazing. Thank you. Hello, Walden. Hello, little JP. I hope you are good. Nice to see you streaming again. Thank you. Thank you. See, you typically ink on a board. Do you ever do digital ink on a comic project? Yes. So when I'm doing comic book work, I do like working on the actual Bristol board, mainly because once I'm done, I'll have an actual piece of artwork. So if a collector wanted it or like wanted to like collect it, they have that option to collect it. If I do digital work, once that's done, everything is such a digital file, so I don't really have a piece of work. But then, if I'm doing some artwork where actually, let me see, yeah, I was gonna. If you look at some of my older videos, you can see that I've done some digital work. Like one of them is the XP pen, where I was showing everyone how I use that drawing tablet. That one's done all digitally, so I'm able to do both traditional and digital. It's just the type of tools that you use. You either go digital or traditional. I just like doing digital because you have an actual piece of artwork. See, let's see. Another question was, "Hi, Redzilla, how are you?" Okay, it's good to thank you for joining me here on the live stream. I'm gonna live stream and try to finish drawing as much of these cards as I can. So we're gonna have like maybe 19 cards since we've drawn one already. What brand of Bristol do you use? Canson, Eon, or what grade of board? So when I work for Marvel Comics or DC Comics, they'll send me the boards to work on. So I don't really need to go buy the boards. If I work for an indie comic publisher, my favorite brand of Bristol boards to use is the Canson board. There's Strathmore. Strathmore is a good brand, which is more expensive, but I think the Canson kind of works a little bit better. Like the ink holds a little better, and it draws a little bit better. Eon boards is getting better. Before I used Eon boards and they kind of bled a little bit, but Eon boards, they're the same company that actually prints Marvel boards these days. Ever since the start of the pandemic, Marvel decided to hire Eon boards to print their Bristol boards. So if you wanted Marvel quality Bristol boards, you can get Eon boards. The quality is getting better. So here's a mouth. Okay, and here's the eyes. This is Black Adam. Okay, here's the here. I'm gonna add some wrinkles, lines, and then here's the lightning bolt. You see if there's any other questions. I like answering questions. Okay. See, do you cut cards or do they come that size? So these cards, I didn't cut the cards. You can purchase these on Amazon. They come in a little package of 20, just on Strathmore Bristol boards. So they're like train car size. Like here's the size. And then if you really want to order it yourself, I'll actually put links below the video description after I do this live stream, so you can order from there. So if you order and then from my links, I get a little bit of a commission. So thank you for that. But they do sell these on Amazon, and I don't really cut them to size because cutting them will like, what if I'm like overcutting or undercutting? We want the size to be like the same size as trading cards. Okay, here's the hand. Okay, we have the fingers. 2, 3, 4. And draw these fingers here. And then the wrist. And then we have this finger here. Okay, let me draw these fingers. One, just drawing little rectangles with fingers and then connecting it all together. Okay, and here's the wrist. And then drawing the bands, the straps. So you just give some shadows on this side and give some shadows on that side. Let's see if there's any other questions. See what brands of Bristol board, Eon, what grade of board. Yeah, like 300 series is pretty good. See, wow, I didn't know that. Music House. Hey, Walden, it's Paul. Hey, Paul, how's it going? I didn't know that was you. Walden has been so wonderful for aspiring inkers like myself. Check out his Patreon page. Thank you, Music House. Oh, you're a great artist yourself. Oh, that's a cool package of 20. Yes. How did you react when someone made a small story on your post? How did I react when someone made a small story on your post? I don't know what that means, Princess Chameleon. Any advice on how you mentally prepare yourself to draw long sessions? Well, yeah, that's one thing when I'm working long sessions, when I'm making. sometimes you kind of need to get into the zone. Like when I sit down, I want to make sure like all the tasks that I need to do, it's like all done. Like if I have chores to do, get that out of the way and don't have to worry about that. And then once all that is done, I can totally focus on just doing work. Sometimes I'll start work from like I'll do like an 8 hour session all in one go. Sometimes I'll work late, and you can either start way early in the morning, or you can start like like 5 in the afternoon and work all the way until like 2 in the morning. And then as long as you're able to sit there and do like a whole session, that's good. It's really getting focused. Sometimes I'll listen to music. Sometimes I'll watch television. I don't actually watch television. I actually listen to the television. Okay, I'm going to draw his feet right over here. Okay, so that's Black Adam. Just draw some lightning bolts around him, so it looks like he's flying. So let me add some frown lines. So there's some lightning bolts. Let me sign my name first. Get some details here. Some lightning bolts here. There we go. Let me see if there's any other questions to answer. The small stories I created when you posted those Marvel comic pages. Remember when I randomly started making up mini stories on them? Was this the mini stories when you were? I don't know. Was it? Oh, that was okay. I remember. Oh yeah, that was a while back. Princess Chameleon. Yeah. Yeah. And what was the question? How did you react? It was good. I was actually reading it, and you were creating stories. I know it was a lot of work on your time. So Princess Chameleon was one of the YouTube viewers who were like mix stories up as I made videos, and that was kind of entertaining for me to read. But I know it was a lot of work on your part, so it was nice that you were doing that. Okay, so these boards, I know that they curl up this way. So if I'm drawing this way, it kind of like curls up. So usually I'll just find it like this way so it's flat. This way I'm going to draw another character. I'm just going to sketch out the body first. Okay, here's the shoulder. Okay, and then here's the waist. And then here's his legs. So during the sketching phase, when I'm sketching, I'm very, very loose with the drawing. I just want to see how the image looks before I start drawing everything. And then the sketch isn't really that accurate. It's just like a lot of sketchy lines. So this one's going to be a silhouette of a character. I don't really know who this character is. He's holding a sword, and then maybe straps, some of the straps of his outfit coming out, and here's his armor. And since it's really, it looks like he's wearing some kind of gown like that. And then this one's going to be more of a silhouette. I'm just going to find out where his eyes are. And then here's his eyes. And then what I have is, I think he has his sword over here. I'm just going to draw the sword first. Okay. Your writing is fine. Oh, good. You see. I read Zilla. I have very shaky hands, which hinders my ability to use the ink brush properly when cross hatching or even doing line weights. Any tips? Okay, Redzilla, I'm going to give you like really good tips. I'm sure you're going to be able to learn with this one live feed that I put up here. Everyone I taught this technique with who had shaky hands, after I taught them, they got better at it. So when you're inking, okay, try not to look at the tip of your pen. Like for example, if I'm drawing this line, don't look at the tip of the pen to see where it's going. Instead, look at where the pen starts and look at where it ends, and then you draw that line. When you draw that line, your hand automatically goes there. See that? Your hand automatically goes there. The quicker you draw the line, the smoother that line will be. So for example, like if I draw the waist, I know that's going to go from here to here to here. I'm just going to go like that. But if you go slow, those lines will be shaky. You see that? You see how I have shaky lines? So the faster you ink those lines, the faster you pencil those lines, the more accurate and smooth those lines will become. Okay, so here's this part. I'm gonna draw a little bit of hair, and then I'm gonna start using the brush to create the silhouette. Okay, so we have the arm here. Okay, I'm gonna add some shadows over here. I'm gonna just keep the sword in place. Okay, here's a silhouette. Okay, and then we have his face, which is also a silhouette. And then I'm gonna go back in there to the hair and add more details. Okay, right here. Create a little halo line over there. Okay, a little strap here. And then just to make, right now it looks like a blob. You can't really see what's going on. So I'm gonna make it look more detailed by going in here and just adding some hatch lines like this. So for the chest area, I'm just going in and add a little bit of little taper lines here and there, like that. And then for the hair, I'm just go in here and add some more loose strands of hair. Okay. Okay, add some more tone to the body. Okay, and some more straps floating. And then maybe some specks of dust, so it looks like it's floating in the air. And then some more straps coming here. So the sketch is like really like a sketchy drawing, but I can take a sketchy drawing and just put a little minor detail just to make it look a little nicer. Okay, I forgot to sign my name. Let me sign my name. Sign my name right over here. Okay, so that's another sketch card. Let me see if I can answer more questions. See, Prison, your writing is fine. It's really funny. It helps improve my writing skills. Good. I'm gonna DM you on Instagram later this week. Just a heads up. Yeah, well, yeah. Feel free to DM me on Instagram when Mighty R. Good technique. Interesting. I'll give it a shot. Good. Great tips for shaking line. I can't wait to use it. Good. Brother Wong, who is your favorite character to draw or ink? My favorite character to draw and ink is Deadpool. I worked on Deadpool for a good amount of time, so it's always fun to work on that character. Sometimes I'll have when I'm at a comic book convention, and then people will ask me, "Oh, draw anything you like." Usually, I'll just draw Deadpool. I like drawing Deadpool because you don't have to draw the character's face. I'm gonna draw Thor over here. Thor like hunching over, and he's like creating a pose. I like drawing characters that don't have to draw faces because it's just faster. So it's not that I don't know how to draw faces or anything like that. It's just faster. Like Batman, a lot of people when you go to a convention and you're telling them to draw something, they're just gonna draw Batman because you don't have to draw eyes, eyebrows, and things like that. It's not. It's not that they don't want to draw faces. It's just quicker. Okay, and here's the shoulder. Here's the arms. Here's the hand. Here's this shoulder. Here's the arm. Here's the hand. I'm gonna draw his X right over here. Okay, I'm gonna make his head a little bit smaller so it fits the head better. And right there, and we'll draw a little bit of his cape, and then his stash here, and then some of his details of his cape, back over here, and then his feet here. So sketching, a lot of scribbling, and then the image comes into place after you start inking. Okay, and then we'll make him have a fist like this. There we go. And that's the one. I'm going to give him Thor hair. Okay, let's see if I can answer some other questions. Boss work. Thank you, One Mighty Art. Do you know what conventions you'll do next? There's actually a couple of comic book conventions that asked me if I would like to attend. I told them yes, but they haven't responded to me. If there's some conventions that would like to invite me to go, I'll see where it is, and then most of the time I will go. It depends on what day. So I know the two conventions that recently asked me. One was Sacramento Con, another one is Sundown Ridge Comic Con, but that's sometime probably next year. So sometime in 2023, or maybe the end of this year. So we'll see how that goes. I really enjoy going to comic book conventions because I get to meet people like you guys, and then we can like talk and just talk comic books. Okay, so there's a door space. Do Spider-Man next. Oh, Loki. No Spider-Man. Loki. Okay. How is your Spider-Man? Do you go for big eyes, McFarlane version? That's my favorite. Yeah, when I draw Spider-Man, I like to draw big eyes. Yeah, big eyes are like my favorite Spider-Man. The first time I started collecting comics was when McFarlane was starting to do work on Amazing Spider-Man. And then right when he left over and started working on his own series, Spider-Man. So I do like drawing big eyes. So these commissions I'm doing is actually requests from a client that wants me to do like these characters. So I'm working on the stuff that they want me to do. So I know you guys want me to do requests, and I would love to do them, but I just need to get these done. Okay, so we have this leg, this knee, and then we have this leg over here. Okay, we'll draw the cape that furry cape, and then there's a strap here. And the strap has some feathers or something. And then we have here, there's forearm here, and then we can draw his fist. And then the other arm, we have his fist here. Okay, we have his wrist strap, and then we're gonna have him hold his weapon. And then here's his axe. We have his axe go all the way back here. And then some of the fur stuff in the back. Let me see some of the other questions. Please hit the like button, please. It'll help me help the stream. Thank you. Yeah, if all of you can hit the like button, it'll help the stream. Little JP, I have most of the McFarlane's original series. It's one of my favorites. I read it about once a year. Yeah. You know what? Not only do I read it, I buy it every time there's like a new version, like an absolute edition or like a black and white version or a trade paperback. I tend to like it so much that I buy it over and over. Another series that I like to buy, even though it comes out like reprints or different versions, is Brian Boland's Batman: The Killing Joke. Yeah, that one I have bought so many versions because I just like the artwork on that. Brian Boland is the artist on that series, and I really like the way that he draws. Okay, so it's a strap. Here's the strap. Okay, I want to make this cape a little bit bigger, and then I'm gonna add some shadows underneath his head. There we go. And then there's Thor. I'm gonna sign my name. Sign my name with a brush. Okay, and then next one I'm gonna draw is, I think this one's Mystique. Okay. You just decide. I'm gonna sketch out the body first. Let me see if there's any other questions. Okay, so far so good. No more questions yet. Feel free to ask me any questions. So I'm gonna sketch this figure. So this is a lady here. And then we have the neck. And then we have the head. Okay, we'll move the shoulder a little bit lower. Okay, now his arms. I have the giant Bolin Joker poster framed in the room currently that I'm currently redecorating. Cool, yeah. Yeah, I think Brian Bolin is such a great artist. I know 2000 AD recently released like a black and white version of his like Apex edition of Judge Dredd. I'm trying to get that. I don't know where I can find it. Like almost like those gallery editions, so I can see his work in black and white. Okay, we have his legs here. And then this girl, we have here, let's find her face. Okay, here, and then we have the throne up here, and we have her hair. Okay, see, 4 cards so far. Actually, is that 4 cards? Let me count. Is that 4 cards? 1, 2, 3. It is 4 cards. Oh, you're right. Thanks for keeping track. Okay, I'm gonna start drawing her face. Okay, here is her nose. Here's her eyes. Here's her mouth. Okay, we have some of the details up here. And we have her chin. Okay, we have the neck here. And then we have her hair. And then we're going to draw her shoulder. I don't really know the detail of this character. I just have a glimpse of it. So, see what I can remember. Okay, here's the arm. Then we have her fingers, which is kind of important, whatever her finger's doing. And then we have the other arm. Then we have these fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the rest of her body. Let's see. I'll have to look for that. I'm in the UK. We are good for 1, 2000 AD, and 2, Captain Britain. Yeah, I think it's a UK book, pretty from 2000 AD. I'm really trying to find it. Maybe I think what I read online was there's a paper shortage, so they couldn't print some. I don't know if it's printed yet. I think it's called Judge Dredd Brian Boland's Apex edition. In the US, I think it costs like $100 or something to buy, or maybe less. Or in the UK, maybe less, not as much. So I like buying artist editions just to see how other artists approach their work. because I can see some of the details of like the whiteouts that they use, the black ink, the white ink that they use. Okay, I'm gonna add some shadows here. Okay, shadows underneath objects that are here, like always shadows underneath the neck, underneath the arm, underneath the cape. I'm also gonna add some shadows behind here. Okay, and then she's wearing a long, yes, long arm sleeve thing, and then another one here. Okay, and then I'm just gonna give her more here on the side. Okay, there we go. Make sure it's in focus, and then I'm gonna sign my name sideways here. Let's see. Probably Spider-Man. Who is your favorite Marvel character and why? My favorite character, my first comic book character that I knew that was a comic book character was Spider-Man. This was before I read comic books. There used to be a TV show on Electric Company, like like when they were showing Sesame Street, and they had these Spider-Man stories. Electric Company, where he would just show up. He would just talk to people and then not really have a voice. He would like do his finger thing and then all of a sudden make a pose and then there would be a speech balloon that pops up and Spider-Man would talk. And when Spider-Man is talking, it's just like a word balloon. So he would draw his face, and this is a Black Adam again. Black Adam with his fingers with lightning bolts coming up here, and then we have his wrists with the details, and then everything's in black. So I'm just gonna ink his whole body black. And then here's the lightning bolt. There we go. And then here's the rest of his body. And then I'm gonna draw his face, find out where his face is, his ears, and then make his head a little bit taller. And then we have the triangle up here for his head, and a little triangle here. And then we have his nose, his eyes, his mouth, his frown. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I'm just gonna start inking his face. Okay, so a lot of times when I ink it, I don't actually trace over my sketch pencil lines. I'm just use that as a guide, and then I'll go in there and just draw based on how I feel that's right. Okay, so here's his eyes, his frown, and then here's his face, his ears. Okay, we have his neck. Let me see if there's any other questions. Peter Parker is cute. Wow, Electric Company. Now that's it. Yes, I was like tiny kid that didn't even know how to speak yet. I think I was just looking at cartoons, and not cartoons. Electric Company. That was when I was really tiny. I mean, I think it was before I even went to preschool. Yeah, but ever since then, I was able to go on YouTube and you can find some of those Electric Companies, and then you kind of laugh at it. Okay, here's his arm. There we go. And now I'm going to use my brush to fill in the rest. Okay, and then we have his, make his eyebrows a little bit thicker, and then we draw his hair here, and then that triangle thing here. And then we have this, draw this all the way across. Okay, I'm running out of ink. So I just take my speedball ink that some of you asked earlier. I'll just dip it in there. And then I'll just start inking with this. So I know that it's kind of running out of ink because it's kind of grayish. So when I dip it again, it's like nice and dark. So we're gonna have black here. Okay, here's the shoulder. Here's this part of the body. Get this part there. Okay. Okay, just give him a little cape over here. So that's the body. Here's this. I'm just gonna make this arm. There we go. Okay, we have that strap over here, and then here's some of the rest of the body. Fill this in. Okay, let me get this into place. And then we're gonna add some texture on the side of the body. Here's the collarbone. Okay, some of these loops. And then some, because light's coming from here, I'm gonna add a shadow on this side. And then some textures over here on this side. There we go. And then some shadows over here, make it look more menacing. Some taper lines here, also along the side of the face. So it's a down, the light's coming from below. And then some here. There we go. And I'm gonna go in here and use my white ink to make it look like there's electricity coming out of the bolt. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then continue on with some of those electricity with the pin here. And come over here, I'm gonna sign my name here. Okay, let's see what other questions there are. Morgan Freeman was, yes, Romiticlin. Okay, Morgan Freeman was in the electric company before I knew who must have learned, like, enjoy, like, Morgan Freeman's voice, because all of us grew up listening to him. It's like listening to your parent. Okay, so there's this one. Okay, next one. Let me mute my phone. See, how do I mute? Okay, here it is. There we go. Okay, next I'm gonna draw Skywalker. Let me see if there's any other questions. See, yeah, any tips on what art program to use? So when I do artwork, I'm actually using, like, if I'm doing digital artwork, I'm actually working with a Photoshop. Photoshop is the program that I use often for digital artwork. I use that for photo editing. I use that for design work. I use that for we have this, the head. Okay, it's Luke Skywalker here. His hair. Okay, we have him here. Yeah, Photoshop. I've been using Photoshop for many years. And actually, I learned how to use Photoshop because I had a friend who worked at Disney at the time, and then he was saying, "Walden, you should really learn how to use Photoshop." And I didn't know what Photoshop was. He goes, "Just learn it. You can just learn it and just see how it works, and then play with it." And I've actually learned how to use Photoshop way before I even started working in comic books. So I know how to use Photoshop for photo editing, ad design, flyers, business cards, things like that, banners and stuff. Just create all that in saving files, how to save it, with format, what resolution, and things like that. So, to my surprise, when I started working in comics and we started using Photoshop, I knew how to do all the blue line and converting and all that. So that came in handy. In fact, I was one of the first inkers who were out there who were creating blue lines. If you actually do a search on Google, say Walden Wong, how to create blue lines, you'll find a post on one of my very old blog sites, a blogger site, Blogspot, that I would post how to make blue lines, because a lot of inkers at the time, they didn't really know how to create blue lines, and they were just contacting me and emailing me asking me how I create blue lines. So I figured I'm just gonna make a post, and then people can just watch how I do it, like how I do it. So you can still find that online now. People still look at it. Okay, here's Luke Skywalker. Okay, we have his hair. But Photoshop is a really good program to use. I mean, all programs out there like Clip Studio or Iris Paint or whatever you can still use, but Photoshop is like the probably the most powerful program of all of them. So I would say try to learn how to use Photoshop if you can. There's different versions of Photoshop. There's like Photoshop Elements, and then like a subscription to Photoshop, and then just like older Photoshops that you can purchase. They all work the same. The newer versions is just bells and whistles. But all the tools and stuff is the same. But there's some of the newer versions have things that older versions don't have, but you can still get by with them. You don't have to know how to use all the tools. So here's a lightsaber, and then here's the I'm just gonna stipple in this lightsaber so it looks like it's glowing. Okay, here's this arm, and then we draw some bags, some pouches, because we know all characters, they like having pouches on the waist. You sign my name here. Okay, and now I'm gonna take my brush and then come back and finish off the rest of it. So I'm gonna add some shadows here. Okay, underneath the neck, always add a shadow underneath the neck. And then here's this vest that he's wearing. Okay, a little bit down here, the back here. Here's his vest. Okay, and see, and then we have this other hand over here. And then we're just gonna add some backgrounds, like a planet here, and then like a building here, just to have stuff going on. And we'll sign my name right here. There we go. There's another one. Let me see if there's any questions. I think you are having some little connection lags. Mic silence. Actually, Joel, it wasn't really a connection lag. When I was doing the live stream, I'm actually using my phone, and someone was trying to call me. So that's why there was a lag, because it was trying to mute out the telephone ringing, but I muted. So whoever's gonna call me, I'll call them back later. Okay, next is I'm gonna try to draw Samuel L. Jackson's face, but it's not gonna be that accurate. Otherwise, it'll take me a long time. So Star Wars: Return of the Jedi. Here's Mace Windu, I think that's his name is, Samuel L. Jackson. So I'm gonna go a little bit more detail so you guys can see how I approach drawing faces. Okay. Oh no, is that his name? No, no. Samuel L. Jackson. What's his character? The one that Samuel L. Jackson plays in Star Wars. Not Mace Windu. He had the one that created the purple lightsaber. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm gonna try to draw him. Okay. So here's his face. Make the head a little bit bigger. Mace Windu. Okay. So I did say it correctly. Okay. So here's this. So this is a quick version of Mace Windu that I'm gonna draw. Okay, don't need to draw a lightsaber. Now I'm just gonna go in there and use my pen. I'm gonna start sketching some of the details. So his nose. Oh, I'm running out of ink. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna draw his lips. Yeah, every time I draw this, I draw the middle line first, and then I'll draw the top line, and then I'll draw the bottom line. Okay, right here. And then we'd have his eyes. We have this eye. We have his eye staring directly at the viewer. And then we have the sheen and then pupil, sheen and then pupil. And then his eyebrows. Just gonna place his eyebrows right here. And place his eyebrow right over here. Okay, this line here. Then we draw the side of this face. And then here's this side of the face, and then we'd have his ear. Doesn't exactly look like him, but 5 minutes. We can't expect. Okay, but try to get it as close as I can. And then here's his head. There we go, comic version. And we'll draw some of this. His outfit, and then some of the inside outfit. There we go. And I'm going back in there. Are you streaming again tomorrow, Walden, or is it just a weekend off for you? I'm actually streaming. I streamed yesterday, and I'm streaming today, and that's going to be the end of the streaming because the client wanted me to draw 40 sketch cards. So yesterday I streamed 20 of the cards, and today I'm going to stream the other 20. So after this, it probably won't be a while until I do maybe commissions. I think weekends are a good time for me to do streaming because weekdays are a little bit more busy for me. Okay, we add some details here. There we go. WALDE. When you guys sign your name, do you actually spell your name? Because every time I sign my name, I'm actually spelling my name out. It's funny, I've actually been to comic book conventions and I'm signing my name for people, and I'm not paying attention to how I spell my name, and I'm spelling my name all wrong. It happens. It happens. Like when you're doing signature. Okay, so here's Mace Windu. Add some shadows here, so hopefully it looks somewhat like Mace Windu. Okay. Next one we're gonna draw. Let me see if there's any questions. Cool. Hello, Snart. Hello. Now I see why we're signing. Okay, let's see if there's any questions that I miss. I think you are having a little. Okay, there we go. I think I answered everything. Okay, next one I'm going to draw is some character from Miss Marvel. So grab a piece of paper here. So if you guys are artists or aspiring artists, this is something that I would highly recommend you guys do when you're sketching. There's basic shapes, which is like a circle, square, triangle, and a cylinder. I mentioned that in some of my tutorial videos that you can see. If you use these shapes to sketch the figure out, you can draw the figure like fairly easy. Like you see the circle, square, triangle, cylinder. I'm going to show you how I approach a drawing a figure here. So I'll look at the body. I'll see that as a square. And I just look at the bottom part of the body, the waist, and I see that as a triangle. I'll find out where the knees are. I'll just place the knees and I'll place where the foot is. Okay, after I have that, I find out where the shoulders are. I just use circles there. And then I'll find out where the elbow is. I just place the elbows, like one elbow here, maybe I'll place another elbow here, and then place another elbow here. And then I'll put the hand over here. Okay, so I'm actually putting all the connecting joints, and then now I'm going to put the head over here. After I have that, I'll use a cylinder and I'll connect everything together. Okay, I'll connect everything together. So here's a cylinder, here's a cylinder, here's a cylinder, here's a cylinder, and now you have a figure. Okay, I make this box 3D. This is where you have like 1-point perspective, 2-point perspective happening. So you can make this more of a 3D shape. And I'm gonna have this figure hold a sword like this, and then this hand is going to hold a sword this way. Okay, now after I sketch this out and I have everything placed in the right place, I go in there and I try to go, I'll tighten up the sketch with a little bit more detail. So this is a female character. Okay, we have her hair coming here. I'm going to go in there and kind of like tighten up the hands. Okay, we're going to go and we're going to add a belt around her waist. Okay, and then we're going to adjust the body a little bit. So when I'm sketching, I'll sketch through everything else. Like I don't like go around and sketch behind objects, or I'll just sketch through everything. Okay, here's the feet, and then here's the other feet. Okay, there we go. And I'm gonna go in here and fix the other hand. Do you have a favorite comic that you have read? See, the favorite comic, I think I would say Brian Boland, Killing Joke, like I mentioned a little bit earlier. That's my favorite comic. I don't really, favorite, just like so many comics. I can tell you a comic book that I have a hard time reading, and that is The Watchman. I tried to read that over and over again, but it's just like so much, like I don't understand it. Like it was kind of slow, like no special effects or anything. So I tried to read that a few times, and I didn't actually finish that. Watchmen. Okay, I'm gonna draw the sword over here. Mine was Spider-Man. Yeah, I like Spider-Man. Yeah, when I first started collecting comic books, one of my earlier books that I like buying was Iron Man. So I also like Iron Man. Iron Man, X-Men was also a book that I bought. Also Alpha Flight. I also like Alpha Flight. Okay, we have her collar here, and then we have the belt. Hey, Camila. Do you do any practice for your art or inking, or do you work enough to be in good practice? I still practice. Like even when I'm doing work currently, I still consider myself practicing. I never say that, oh, I'm good, like, I'm pro, or like I'm just like I don't need to practice. I constantly look to practice. Sometimes when I see, like, if I'm working with a new penciler or something, I'll study the work. Like I'm always studying people's work. It's just something that's fun for me to do. Like when I'm studying people's work, or when I'm drawing, I always try to look at how others draw and then see if I can capture some of that in my own drawing work. Okay, we have hair here, and I'm going to draw her nose, eyes, and mouth, and then we're going to have her have flowing hair. Okay, and we add some of the details of her outfit right over here. Okay, and then there's some electricity coming out from the sword. Okay, I'm going to sign my name. And then I'm just going to go in there and give it a little bit of shadows over here with the brush. See, you should draw with me, hi bro. Do you have a favorite Spider-Man storyline? My favorite Spider-Man storyline, the Ultimate Spider-Man storyline was my favorite. I actually read every one of those issues. I wasn't really around when Amazing Spider-Man came out, or Web of Spider-Man or Spectacular Spider-Man. I didn't really read any of that, but when Ultimate Spider-Man started coming out, I did read all that. I do like the story there. I know it's not part of regular Spider-Man continuity, but I thought that was a pretty good story, where Peter Parker was more of an adult instead of a little kid who was having like kid problems. Okay, so there's that one. Okay, next one I'm going to draw is I'm going to draw maybe Submariner. Submariner. Okay, an old school Submariner. So we're going to have Submariner's body kind of tilt this way. See, yay, new story time about drawing sketch cards. Yeah, thank you, Singer Nausicaa. Yeah, so Singer Nausicaa is one of the YouTubers that I follow. She does singing videos and she also does like food reviews. It's one of my favorite channels to watch. So if those of you who are on my stream right now, you want to like find something like sing songs or have something playing in the background music, I usually listen to her music. Very good song choices. Okay, and we have this feet here. Let me see if there's any other questions. I watch all of the 2D version of Spider-Man. You know what? You know what's a good Spider-Man that I also like? Spider-Man 2099. That futuristic Spider-Man. Yeah, I like that a lot. That was like one of the favorite Spider-Man storylines, where he looked kind of like his logo looks kind of like a pirate Spider-Man. Okay, so we're gonna draw Namer's head. Okay, we're gonna have his head facing this way. Okay, his head facing like this, and then here's his mouth. Okay, and then we're gonna make his fist. And we have his bracelet. Those original Miles Morales Spider-Man were very good. I don't read much stuff, but I couldn't put that series down. Yeah, it was very good. I liked it. I liked all the Ultimate line when Marvel was doing. I know with the Ultimate Spider-Man, it was being inked at the time, but some of the other titles like Ultimate X-Men or Ultimate Fantastic Four, I think Marvel was trying to get rid of inkers at the time, so those projects weren't inked at all. So when it wasn't, I even sees like if you look at some of those books, like Ultimate X-Men, you'll see that the penciler would draw an X on certain areas, and then the color was just color on top of the X, and you see the X where the penciler meant for an inker to like fill it out. So that was kind of funny to see, because some stuff would look better inked. Okay, so Neymar, we're going here and start drawing his fist, his fingers. One, two, three, four, four fingers, and then his bracelet here, and then here's his wrist. Okay, here's his arms, and then we'll draw his head. Okay, we'll draw his mouth, draw his nose, just something really basic. And then here's his high eyebrows, and then here's his head, and then we have his sharp pointy ears. And then we have his hair. I just fill in the hair later with the ink. And then we have his shoulders over here, and then we have his body, his other shoulder. Here's this part. Okay, here's this here, and then his waist, and then his seashell. Seashell. There's this new Namer image, submarine image that's been floating around. I don't know if it's a movie or if it's a TV show that's going to be happening. I don't know if it's real or fake. I've been seeing people post about, oh, we could draw his wings over here. Okay, just draw his toes, and then we'll draw some wings over here, and then we'll draw more of his toes here, and then we're going to finish off with his arm right over here, and then some elements, and then we have his fist. Okay, and then here, could add some of those scales on his pants, and then I'm going to come back with the black, and then just give it some shadows. Okay, so a shadow underneath here, shadow on this arm, shadow on the side of the waist, some of his ribs, underneath the neck, the hair. Okay, some shadows over here, and some shadows, some six packs over there, and then some shadows here and here, and some speed lines, and then some shadows underneath this foot, and then some shadows here. Oops, then we could try to get back into frame. There we go. Okay, Simon, you want to give this mouth a shadow right in between. There. Okay, we're gonna add some shadows in between here. I'll give Simon a name. Okay, that's Neymar, Submariner. Let me see if there's any questions. Spidey 29 was awesome. Completely agree with the artwork was pretty cool. Yeah, I really Rick Leonardi, who drew Spider-Man 29. I think he's a really underrated artist. I think he draws really well. I have yet to meet him. I would like to work with him sometime. Maybe if the opportunity arises, I could do work with him. Let me see. This next one I'm going to draw is Spider-Man to John Romita Spider-Man. You see, Walden, do you think they will try to do comics in the future without inks, using colors as the finisher? Yes, they actually even try to do comics without the inker even these days. Most comics, like inkers, are kind of like disappearing in a way. We don't have as many inkers as we used to have before, because most publishers they want to do away with the inking, but there's still always going to be places for artists to do inking work, because collectors they still want their comics to be inked traditionally. I've actually worked on projects where a penciler would draw it digitally and then the publisher would ask me to ink it traditionally, so I'm actually going in there and inking digital drawn pencils to make it look traditional. So I know it's still needed, even though there isn't as many inkers as before, but inkers are still needed. I think it just makes the artwork just so much more nicer when it's inked. Digital, I can see stuff that looks kind of digitally. So there's Spider-Man's eyes, and then here's his fingers. Draw the block of the hand first, and then separate the fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Draw the thumb. Draw the blocks. 1, 2, 5. Okay. Now I'm gonna go in here and draw the head. Here's the head. Hopefully I don't run out of ink on this pen like last time here. And we'll draw the big eyes, Spider-Man's eyes. Okay, we have his shoulder. We have his back muscles, the elbow. We have his forearm. We have his thumb. We have the fingers 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you count your fingers. Otherwise, you don't want to be drawing like 6 fingers. You'll be surprised some artists, they'll be drawing 6 fingers. One of the most famous published work where an artist drew 6 finger was Billy Tucci. He drew an issue of She, that warrior, and then in one of the covers, it's holding like a sword and just one thumb and five fingers. And that got published. So I find that make sure you count your fingers. Okay, so you don't like draw one too many or one too little. Okay, here's the feet, and then here's this side. We're gonna draw this leg here, and then this leg here. And draw the ankle, and then here's his feet. Okay, now I'm gonna draw Spider-Man's logo on the back. Let's see if there's any other questions while I draw this. See, do you think they would try out comics? Oh yeah, don't forget his ankle wings. Oh yeah, yeah. Here's Namor's ankle wings right over here. Okay, okay, Spider-Man. So here's the webbing. Let's draw some quick webbing. He draws these lines here, 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 here. Okay, and then here's his this part, and then we have this part. Spider, let me get him back into frame here. We have his fingers. These are webbing that's easier to draw. Just lines like this around each finger. And then we have these longer lines, which is a little bit more, you have to think about it. Okay, so we have this line here, here, and here. And then the spider logo, let's see, 1 leg, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, when I do published work, like usually I'm more detailed. With these sketches is a little bit quicker, a little bit faster, just so I can get it done quickly. Because can you imagine if I'm doing 1 hour for each sketch? It's gonna be 20 hours of work. It's gonna take a long time. Okay, here's the webbing. Okay, here's the webbing here. See, was there another question? Let's see. I like the Spider-Man miniseries when Peter Parker crossed over to another multiverse. Yeah, that was a good story too. With Spider-Man, actually, Spider-Verse is also a good story. Yeah, Spider-Verse is also a good story that I like pretty well. Okay, here's this one, Spider, and then the webbing. Okay, webbing here, webbing here. Okay, I know the webbing should focus this way, so it pulls towards the head. So when I say pull towards, the loop goes this way. And I'm doing this really quick. Okay, there we go. Some more webbing here. And then I'm just gonna come back with my a brush, and then just give it some shadows, just to give it more depth in some areas. Okay, so some arm muscles here, some arm muscles here. Okay, I'm just gonna make the eyes a little bit thicker. Okay, and some more here, here, here. Okay, that's good enough. Good enough. Okay, sign my name. There we go. And there's Spider-Man. Okay, next I'm going to draw, let's see, Dracula, Tomb of Dracula, Marvel Comics Dracula. Okay, so Marvel Comics Dracula. Let me see if there's any question. Okay, so far so good. Okay, Dracula, I'm going to sketch out, maybe here's his head, and we're going to have his hand right over here. Okay, we're going to have his fingers really menacing. So here's one finger, here's the other finger, and here's this finger, and then the other finger. Okay, and then we have his thumb right over here. Okay, here's his hand, and then we're gonna have his cape. Okay, Dracula's head's gonna be here with his ears, his eyes, nose, and mouth, and then we have his hair right here. Okay, and then we have those long, almost like the Doctor Strange collar thing going on here. Okay, we have his other shoulder. Okay, we have everything back here, and here's this part. And we have his other hand here. There, that's good enough. Okay, we go there and draw the face. I made a McFarlane Spider-Man pumpkin for Halloween pumpkin competition. Little JP. Did you win? Did you win? I'm sure the pumpkin contest was pretty good. I would love to see how that looks. Okay, here's the eyes. Okay, I'm gonna make the eyes, just make it black. Okay, eyebrows. And then I'm gonna have his mouth open, and then with the fangs. And then we're gonna have his mouth here, and his eyes, and then his ears. Okay, and we draw some of this collar here. I came second place, but I was the judge, so he came second place. You were the judge, and you let your girlfriend win. I would let the girlfriend win too, if you were the judge. Yeah, that was good choice. Very good choice. Okay, here's the finger. That was awesome. That was awesome. Okay, then we have this finger here, and then we have this finger here. Okay, then I'm gonna draw the thumb. And here's collage. That's Dracula's hand. I guess the influence on the most. I would like. We're just going to make this more noticeable. The hand. Here's some black hair. We're going to draw all this as cape. So there's the cape right here. We're going to draw some folds. A lot of folds here. And then we have another fold. Okay, we have his outfit. Folds. Okay, have some of his insides, and then his cape kind of flowing out, and then we're gonna ink his hair. Okay, Tomb of Dracula. I'm just gonna go in there and go like that. Okay, get some shadows on his face, get some wrinkles, add some shadows in between here and here. Okay, sign my name. Okay, I'm gonna make some areas darker. Yeah, so that's Dracula. Add some more shadows just to make it a little clearer. Okay, there we go. That's Dracula. Next, I'm gonna draw Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer on his surfboard. So let's put his surfboard right here first. And then we're gonna have his body here. Make it smaller so we can fit his whole body. Here's his head. Here's his leg on the surfboard. Here's his other leg. We have this, his arm, and then we have this other arm right over there. Silver Surfer. We're gonna find out where the head is. Okay, I'm gonna tighten this up a little bit more. Here's his shoulder. Let me see if there's any questions. Hey, Leg Kick, how are you? It's good to see you here. I made the right choice choice letting my girlfriend win. It's always ladies first. It's the wise ways to be an easier life. Had to pop in and give you a support. Thank you, Lake Cake. I met another really nice comic creator, Aaron Leprestri, a couple of weekends ago. Good. I worked with Aaron Leprestri on Generation X for Marvel Comics. Have you ever worked with any other difficult writers and pencilers? Um, Usually, there's always going to be like pencilers and writers that are somewhat difficult, but I never see working with any of them as difficult. Sometimes I work with someone that like say, I want this change or I need this fixed, but I don't see that as difficult. I see that more as a learning experience. See, I come from a teaching background. I'm also a teacher. I teach art. So when I have like other artists who are telling me that, oh, can you change this? Can you adjust this? Or if they're showing me something that they want to do differently, and I'll just go there and change it. I see that more as a learning experience rather than, oh, it's difficult. They're making me do changes. So when someone's asking me to do changes or adjustments or say that this is wrong and it needs to be fixed, I actually appreciate it because I think it makes me a better artist. Okay, we have the eyes here, nose. Okay, and the Silver Surfer doesn't have ears. Okay, we have his shoulders. Okay, we have his forearm. We have his fist over here. Okay, we have his chest. We have his hand. Draw his hand right here. We have his thumb, forefinger, second, third, fourth. Okay, we have his thigh. Yeah, so being a teacher, instructor, I used to teach at the Academy of Art University in San Francisco, teaching a class called Comic Book Illustration. So I would like so when people teach me how to do stuff, I'm always appreciative. And then I don't really see it as a something that's difficult. But I know that to others maybe it is difficult, but to me it's really like a way to learn from them. So you had to probably have. I believe in too much Dracula. Gene Colan very tight. Yeah, Gene Colan. I think he also inks himself as well. So I'm just hatching some of this. Here's the Silver Surfer. So these sketches on these sketch cards, I'm just gonna leave the pencil there. Usually when I'm done sketching, I'll just erase the pencils, and then just keep the inks. Here we go. We have Silver Surfer. I'm just gonna add some specs. I'm gonna sign my name first. Actually, my brush is kind of running out of ink. Time for me to dip the brush again. Silver Surfer is tough. I think it's tough to show full metallic. Yeah, I'm gonna go in here and just maybe ink some metallic a little bit better so we can see. So I'm gonna try to ink in some metallic on this leg. So usually when I ink metallic, I try to go in there and add these wavy lines like this, and then maybe just add some hatch lines like that just to make it a little bit more metallic. Okay, I'm gonna add some stars and planets. Sign my name first. Maybe add a planet back over here. Okay, that's good enough. Maybe a star back there. So it looks like it's in space. Okay. Next one I'm going to ink is I'm going to draw is see. Do you plan to do more teaching? You seem sociable and like you would enjoy helping people. Oh, let me see that question. Oh, oh, it's deleted. Joe, that was a good question. That was a good question. Why you delete the message? That was a good question. I was halfway reading it and then it got deleted. All I caught was, do you enjoy doing more teaching? You seem like a sociable person, and then something I didn't really catch. Yeah, I do teach. I do teach. I teach art classes on my own on the weekends where I have students. I actually have students that comes to my art class studio. I have like over 60 something students that I teach. I stopped teaching at the Academy of Art University because that wasn't something that I was able to do because I was so busy with other work. This is the homage to the cable cover that Rob Liefeld drew for the New Mutants. So I'm going to try to draw that. I'm going to draw all those circles for the head. Okay, but we're not going to go very detailed. I'm just going to draw happy faces on it, just because it's cool. Here's Cable's face, just because it'll be fun. Here's this. Here's Cable's hair. Okay, here's his ears. Okay, we're gonna draw his hand a little bit better. Okay, we're gonna draw those big guns that Rob Liefeld's pretty good at drawing. We're gonna draw his hand holding his gun, and then we have these bullseye stuff. Okay, we're just gonna draw happy faces here. We have this one with a happy face here, with a sad face. We have this guy with a happy face here, and then we have Wolfsbane with a happy face here. Okay, and then those big shoulder pads. Okay, that's good enough. And then all those big pouches. Okay. Okay, let me see if there's any questions. Okay, I'm just gonna go over here and start drawing. Oh, I'm almost running out of ink. Okay, okay. Here's hair. Rob Liefeld's hair on cable. Okay, we have some more hair, and then we have ear. We have his ear. We just draw some of the hair on some of this, and then I'm gonna draw this nose. Yeah, I'm a people person. I actually like talking to people. That's one of the reasons I like going to conventions. Also, one of the reasons I do my best to respond to everyone that posts on my social media, or like for you guys, every time you guys ask a question, I try to answer them as much as I can, or as quick as I can, as timely as I can. Yeah, I have a degree in business, and one of the classes I took was business communications. And I think communicating with people is really important, especially if it's like first impressions and things like that. Okay, we have this one, we have this gun, and then we have the rifle with all these little tubes, like cylinder tubes over here. Okay, I'm gonna draw these little target stuff, these bullseye stuff. This one's this commercial is probably gonna take the longest of the cards. Okay, there we go. Just gonna draw happy faces for the heads. It's just happy face, happy face. This one's gonna be a sad face. Okay, and then the rest of Rob Liefeld's circles and ovals and cylinders. Here's this one. Any other questions that you guys have, or you want me to tell stories about? Okay, Cable's arm, hairy arms. Okay, those big shoulder pads. And here's another big shoulder pad. There we go. And then with Simon name here. Okay, so the shoulder pads. And then I'm gonna just draw. I was gonna draw the finger. I would just draw the fingers like that. Okay, and I'm come back with the brush and just add a few minor details. Okay, eyebrows just make it a little bit thicker, and then make the strap black. Okay, make the shoulder pads, kind of add some details to here, some arm detail. Okay, let's see if there's any other question. Yes, New Mutants number 98. That does, what is it, 98 or 87? Yeah, New Mutants 98, 87, 98, or whatever that number is. Yeah, so this is a homage to that one. Okay, I'm gonna add some details to the face. There we go. There's that one. Okay, next one I'm gonna draw is a homage to Batman Red Hood. So I'm just gonna draw Red Hood. Okay, how many more cards do I have to go? It seems, oh, we're almost done. We're almost there. Just a few more left. So Red Hood, I'm gonna draw Red Hood. This is easy. No face. He just has a little dome for a head. His collar, and then he's just a suit. What do you think is the difference between Western and Eastern drawing styles? So Western, as in American comics, and then Eastern, I imagine you're saying like manga, anime, and things like that. So American comics, I know that it's less details on the work, whereas manga and anime, that's more details. Most of the manga out there, they're done in black and white. So more details just to create more tone to the artwork. With the American style, it's some of the artwork is detailed, but then it's not as detailed as manga work out there. Manga work like does look really detailed, like especially if it's in black and white. If you look at American comics and you look at stuff in black and white without the colors, it's not as detailed as some of the manga work that's published out there. Okay, let's see. Any other question? where is the best place to keep up with you online, Walden? I don't use YouTube, but I might branch out. So Joe, thank you for following me on Little JP. Thank you for following me on YouTube. I also have actually I have a website. My website is waldenwongart.com, and then once you're there on the top left, there's links to all my social media. So I have Facebook, and then I also have Instagram and Twitter and all those. I also have Patreon, but Patreon is kind of like a subscribe thing where people just like kind of like put in $1 or I have some tiers that's up to $125 if they want mystery boxes. On my Patreon, I actually post a lot more so than on my other social media. YouTube, I'll put stuff up there, and then Instagram, I'll put stuff up there. But on Patreon, I actually post a lot of stuff that I'm working on. Like some stuff that I'm working on currently that I can't post anywhere else. You get to see it the moment I'm done working on it. So Patreon is like the place that I go to that posts a lot of stuff, mainly because with Patreon, not everyone can see what I'm posting unless they're like a tier. And I know editors aren't going to be post like like subscribing to my Patreon so they'll see what I'm posting on, because sometimes when I'm posting images up there, I'm not supposed to be showing it yet, but for people who are on my Patreon page, they'll get to see what I'm working on as I'm done. I also show, like, not only do you guys see like images that I'm working on, I'll also give out tips on how to do work, how to process work, how to work in the comic book industry. I also put in up files of comic books that I worked on, so you can actually download and read those images. There's also homework assignments for those of you who want to practice drawing comics or inking comics or writing comics or even coloring or lettering. Okay, so this is Red Hood. There's this one, and I'm gonna sign my name. So check that out. But other than Patreon, for the free sites, you can also go to Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, DeviantArt, Facebook. I post on those channels somewhat regularly. But I try to keep YouTube going because YouTube is kind of fun because I get to interact with everyone. If you can say one thing to really get down to it, if you could see, Cargo Heart says, if you could say one thing to really get down when draw characters, what would it be? I'm not sure I understand that question quite. If you can say one thing to really get down when drawing characters, what would it be? What does that mean? Okay, let's see. Well, I guess if I'm drawing characters, basic shapes and forms. If you find out when you're drawing the basic forms, it does get easier. So I'm going to draw Spider Gwen over here. Joe Den, I'll sign up for Patreon. I would like to get an inking critique from you one day. The homework thing sounds very well. Yeah, so Lil JP, the inking critiques that you get from me, not only are you getting like a email critique, I actually take your artwork and I'll make a video of it. So, and then I'll mark up your artwork, and I'll also tell you what you can do better and what you can do to fix your work. Not only that, when you're on my Patreon and you're subscribed to a mentorship tier, you can also communicate with me as often as you like. Like, you can text me, you can message me, and then I'll respond with questions if we have answers. Like, I have some patrons who just subscribe, and then sometimes they'll have like simple questions, such as like how to do this, how to that. I'll just respond and help them out. Just think of me as someone who's there to help you along the way. That's how I use Patreon. I created Patreon for one reason, because I was really answering, and I enjoy communicating with people. I was answering a lot of people's critiques and portfolio reviews, and I was just doing it for free because I just enjoyed it. And then after a while, I was just doing it so much that I didn't have time to do that much work. So one of my friends said, "Why don't you create a Patreon? So if people are really serious about asking you for critique, they can join on this Patreon, and then you can answer them, and then you don't have to like focus on everyone that's just casually asking you for help. That way, for those who are really serious, you can really help, and then help them hone their skills more, and that they can appreciate it better." So that's how I did. That's how I created Patreon page. So I do know some artist that's on Patreon that follows me, they ended up getting work. So it makes me very proud to hear that they're getting work. I also have people who are actually publishing comics now after they're working on Patreon, and then they're still like, I'm really proud of them. So it's good to hear them do well. Okay, we have inkers there, we have pencilers there, we have some professionals there, and I'm surprised that Patreon actually works to help people along the way. Okay, we have this, we have the shoes, the little flip flop shoes. Then we have this shoe here. Okay, there. Okay, this is Spider Gwen. Spider Gwen is usually like a black outfit on the bottom, and then I'm going to come back in here and just fill out the rest. Here's this one, here's this part, and I'm going to draw the webbing. Oh, the webbings again. I'm just going to draw the webbing really quickly. Okay, here's the webbing here. Sketch these out really quickly. Just draw a squiggly line, and then the webbing over here. There we go. And I'm just going to add some stippling around the eyes. I know Spider-Gwen's eyes are stipply. Let's see what other questions. Thank you, Mr. Wong. Thank you, Cargo Heart. Thank you for joining me. If you say one thing to really get down and draw characters, what would be? Yeah, just keep drawing every day. The more you draw, the better you'll get. Okay, I'm going to come back in here with a black brush, and I'm going to go and fill in all the black areas. So all of this area is black. Just going to go and fill in Spider-Gwen's outfit, all black over here. There we go. This one's a fairly easy one to work on. It looks pretty good. Okay, I'm just going to give her a little bit of a chin. Okay, there you go. And then we'll sign my name, W-A-L-D-E-N, W-O-N-G. Okay, there's Spider-Gwen. Okay, next one I'm going to draw is Spawn, one of my favorite characters. The hoodie looks perfect on Spider-Gwen. I never really read her comics. This costume was cool. Yeah, I like his costume. I like her costume. Her costume is pretty nice. I think it looks kind of cool the way they have Spider-Gwen. I'm just going to use my gray pencils to just give it a little bit more color to the stuff. There we go. Okay, next is Spawn. Spawn is a lot going on with Spawn. Okay, that Spawn cover from #1. So here's his head. Here's his cape. I'm going to draw his hand. Here's Spawn's hand, his fingers, like that. And then we have his other arm over here. And then we have this finger. This one's like so detailed. Tar McFarlane is so detailed with his work. Here, and then we have his cape over here. We have Spawn here. This cape. Just gonna go all these bone structures, these skeletons, another skeleton, another chain over here. So much going on. So much going on. Okay, we have the cape. Spawn's a tough one. Spawn is a tough one. Just a lot going on. Too much going on. Okay. Let me see. We have the plasma from Spawn. There we go. Okay, some cape going on here. Okay, that's good enough. Otherwise, I'll be sketching forever. Okay, now I'm going to sketch his hood, this part. And then I'm going to draw his head. And then we're going to draw his eyes. And then we have this. There we go. Just go as quick as I can. And then we have those skulls, those skull things. We have this one. Okay, we have this chain. I'll just draw little loops like that. Okay, we have this one. Okay, we have his fingers. The fingers are really something. Okay, here's one finger. Here's another finger. Another finger here. And then we have the rest pointing downwards. This finger and then this finger. There we go. Okay, and then we have this arm here. Too much going on. Okay, we have another skeleton here. Okay, we're going to draw this arm right here. Okay, here's the thumb. Here is this finger. Okay, and then here's this other finger, and then the point of this finger, and then this part, and then the knuckles, the brass knuckles. And then we have this arm here and this arm here. And then we have the cape. Okay, and just draw the plasma stuff. Get that out of the way first because it's in the foreground. I'm going to use a brush to ink in the rest. I'm much faster with drawing with a brush than with a pen. It just covers up more area quicker. Okay, dip some ink. Okay, gonna fill in the black part of Spawn. Here, sign my name first. Get my signature out the way so I don't forget. Okay, and then we have this part here, all black. Okay, we have some cape action going on here. Okay, his chest. I'm gonna add some more chains, just loopy loops. Some chains over here, some chains over here. Okay, lots of chains. Okay, this is all black here. Another cape going underneath here. Okay, we have some details. Yeah, too much going on with Spawn. Some spikes. Okay, and then we have this arm. You have some cape. This cape goes on here. Yeah, this is a lot happening. Okay, right up here. Just this arm. Okay, and then there's a bat here. I'm not gonna draw the bat. I'm just draw. Okay, good enough. Okay, this is good enough. Otherwise, it'll take a long time to finish. Okay, some plasma. Okay, there's a Spawn. Close enough Spawn. Okay, next one I'm going to draw. I'm almost ending. Only couple of cards left. This one I'm going to draw Thor, one of the bad guys in Thor. Okay, one of the bad guys. Let me see if there's any more questions. Spawn's a tough one. He looks perfect. Yep. After this one, just one more card left. So 2 more cards. Thank you for hanging in there with me. So this guy is, who is this guy? He looks like some guy's trying to lift up the Thor's hammer. Okay, so here's his head. Is there a long shot in there? I wish there was a long shot. Long shot's not in there. I want to draw a long shot in the future. Long shot. You know what? That's good. You know, I'm gonna talk about a story. So when I started working for Marvel, one of my first series that I worked on was Deadpool. But on top of that, Marvel had me work on a long shot, one shot. I was so excited. I was so excited to be working that. And we had like maybe 1/3 of the book done. And then Marvel decided to pull the project. I think if you type in Walden Wong long shot on Google, you see some of those images because I posted some of those online. You should be able to find some of those images. The pencil was Pete Woods, and I inked it, and I was so excited about it because Arthur Adams was a friend at the time, and then he was the one who showed me how to do inking. And then when I was working on long shot, I didn't tell him because I know that he kind of like co-created long shot. So I thought that if that book comes out and he's going to see my name, he's going to be like so proud of me. But too bad that book was never done. I poured everything into working on that book. Like even now, when I look at it, I'm happy with how it turned out, but it was never published. And I don't think it's ever going to be published. But that was like, there's a story for you. So I did kind of work on long shot for Marvel Comics, and they paid me for it. But it's just that project was never published. I wish it was published. Okay, so here's the face of that. Oh, no more ink. Here's the mouth. Okay, we have the eyes. Okay, we're gonna have this. And I don't really know who this character is. I'm just gonna draw it. Here's this. Okay, we have the hoodie. I don't really know how the hoodie looks. And we have the arm. Here, we have this part. Okay, we're gonna have this hand holding the Mjolnir, the hammer. We have the other hand trying to lift it up. Okay, we have this hand. We have the strap of the hammer. We have the bottom of the hammer. We're gonna make this hammer kind of look 3D a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay, we have this arm here. Okay, and then the chest. Okay, and then we have the side of his body. Any other questions about anything in comics? Because after this card, there's one more card left, and I'm going to stay on until that card is done. That's too bad. Would have been good to read that long shot. Yeah, the writer, I think, was Joe Kelly. I think Joe Kelly was writing it. He was the writer who also wrote Deadpool at the time. Let me sign my name here. There we go. I think I have some of the original artwork back. I think I have a few, but not too much. And here's his hood. His hoodie, he's like all black here. Make this all dark. Okay, and then he also, this character also has like some kind of pattern on his arms. I don't really know who this character is. Okay, some more patterns here. I wonder who the last character is going to be. So after I ink this, I'm going to find out who that last character I'm going to draw for this live stream. Okay, here's this. Any other questions about anything? I'm more than happy to answer. Okay, we'll add some rocks over here, like it's trying to pick it up or drop it down. There we go. So there's this. I'm just gonna add some more texture on the side. There we go. Okay, the last character I'm gonna draw is I think that's another Spider Gwen. Another Spider. Okay, this is the last Spider Gwen. So the Spider Gwen, we're gonna have um, her body right here. Okay, here's her leg. Let me see if there's any other questions. Mojo, I wish I could draw Mojo. Too bad Walden would have been, yeah, or Mojo. Oh, no Mojo. Mojo Jojo. Okay, here's this part, and here's the other leg. This is based on one of the Spider-Gwen covers. I don't know which cover. The client sent me photos of what she wanted me to draw, and I'm just kind of like picking certain areas of that character to draw. Here's her head. Move her shoulder a little bit lower. Here's a hoodie on the side. Okay, and then here's her eyes. Okay, and then here's the other arm. So it's kind of off the page. And here's the fist. Here's the fist, and here's the thumb. And it says I'm making it into the comic book industry. Hey, Victoria. Yeah, so to make it into the comic book industry, I really think it's really easy to make it into the comic book industry. Like, because I'm really no one special. If I can do it, all of you can do it too. If you really want to make it into the comic book industry, it's really, really not that hard. I'm no one special. The only thing that got me work is just dedication and then just doing the work and practicing. It's nice to watch you do these cards. It's been nice company whilst I am. Well, good. I'm glad you enjoy it. It was an inventive workaround you came up with the rifle, the micro pins with the dropper. Thanks. Thank you. I'm glad you like that. Any tips? Yeah. So to make it into the comic book industry, just keep practice. I actually got working in comics before I even knew I was working in comics. Before I started working for Marvel and DC, I actually got indie work, and I was just inking for them, and then I didn't even realize that I'm already working for them. I'm actually getting paid for them. So like, if you enjoy the work, just do the work, and it doesn't really matter if you get the work. The work will eventually come to you later. Yeah, but practice and focus, and you keep doing it. Eventually, the work will come. I really believe in that because that's how I got the work. Okay, here's the body, and then here's his arm, her arm, and then here's her hoodie. We draw the hoodie like this, and then you have this side of the hoodie. Okay, we're gonna draw her head here, and then we're gonna draw her eyes, Spider-Man eyes, again with the little speckles around the eyes, and then we have some of the webbing. See, how long had you been practicing inking before you broke in? I still think I'm practicing inking to this day. But for before I actually broke in, when I was like practicing, actually took me a year. So I was actually, what was your first indie work? My first indie work was for an Arctic Press, was for a book called Shotgun Mary Shooting Gallery. I still have a photocopy of the pay stub. I got paid like $8 a page. I still remember, but it was my first work, and that was like so happy. I didn't really care if I got paid a little bit because all I wanted was something that was published. So that was the first work that I've ever worked on. And how long have I been practicing before I broke in? So from the start to finish until I actually got work for Marvel and DC. This is not including the indie work. I was working at the bank full time as a bank teller or a new accounts person. And I told myself, I really want to try to see if I can get work as a comic book artist. So I gave myself a year. If I said within that year, if I don't get work, I'm just going to give up that dream and then focus on being a bank manager or supervisor or whatever. Okay. So I started practicing inking, and I was really dedicated. I started calling as many publishers as I can. I call them to send me samples of photocopies that I can ink on. I went to comic book conventions as much as I can to meet editors and publishers. And almost a year when that was almost up, I was about to give up. And then that year when I went to San Diego Comic Con, I got my first, actually, no, it was WonderCon in San Francisco before WonderCon was in Los Angeles. I went to WonderCon and I met like a lot of other artists, and that's when I got my first Marvel work. So within that year, I got indie work, and then even though I was paid very little, like $5 a page, some of the work that I was thinking I didn't get paid. You know you're gonna get one. You're always gonna get one of those. Hey, well, you work for us, we'll give you exposure. You won't get paid, but we'll give you exposure. So I was doing a lot of that, and I didn't care because I saw that as a practice using the tools. And then eventually I did get better with the inking. I started trying to ink with the quill, which I didn't know how to use. I tried to learn how to use a brush, which I didn't know how to use. And I was kind of practicing those on like indie books. So even though if I made a mistake, I was still practicing. And then within a year, I got work. And then I eventually quit my full-time job and became a part-time job at Wells Fargo because I didn't know if being a comic book artist was sustainable. So let me spell my name first. Walden, Wong. There we go. And then, so I quit my full-time job at Wells Fargo Bank and became part-time, just to see if 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 the comic books wasn't going to work out, I can always go back working full-time. But then it kind of worked out. Okay, so I'm going to fan through all the cards before I end this live stream so we can see what I worked on today. Thank you for all for joining. So yes, after I quit the full-time job, became part-time, I was inking. And inking work was just like a little bit at a time. It was just like one project here and a project there. I remember when I first started for working for Marvel, it was only helping out a few pages here and a few pages there. It was never a series or like an issue. Okay, doing your own work will stretch you too. Yes. Yeah, so if you do your own work, that's really great. Hey, Louis. Hey, Louis, how are you? It's good to see you here. How was the convention? I hope you had a good time on your convention. Louis is a very talented artist. He's also like one of my friends who's also on my Patreon. And then every so often he would show me his work. He's such an amazing artist. And he draws and inks so fast. I think he has a YouTube channel, but he's also on Facebook. You should really he's also on Instagram. You guys should really check out his work. Oh, I think I signed my name sideways. Oh, it doesn't matter. You can display it like this. Yeah, I'm glad you had fun. Yeah, you really need to make prints out there, Louis. Every time I see you posting your booth, you see I have all these comic books, which is great. I'm thinking, where's the prints, Louis? Put up prints. People love collecting prints because you're the only artist that would sell those prints. Okay, I'm gonna add some more hair over here. Gonna add some more squiggly lines just for the hair. Yeah, today it was faster. Yesterday night it was almost like much longer. Yesterday, today's live stream was a little bit better, a little bit faster. Here's this one, this one. I don't even know who these characters are. Lines art page. Do you ever feel tension in how expressive you ink when using ink to show light or the body's form, knowing that it will be colored and the colors is thinking similar about light and form? Yes, so when I'm inking, I actually think about the colors as well. How the colors is going to color certain areas of the object. That's why I create halo lines. Halo lines, sometimes if I don't create a halo line is, for example, if you are inking something, like I'm just gonna go create a halo here. If I have two legs here and I'm inking this leg black and I'm inking that leg black, it's gonna disappear. So what I do is I create a halo line, which is a white line, like right over there, and then I put the other leg over there. This way, this helps separate the two legs, and the colors can color that little sliver of line, so they can separate the leg. If we don't create the halo there, and we don't have that line, the colors is not going to know how to color that area, and it's going to be like a floating color there. Like it's going to be like a background color, and the background color is going to float into that leg, so they're going to have to draw like a floating line, which is kind of weird. So usually when I'm making, I'm always thinking about the colors as well. So is this actually when I'm making, I'm also thinking about the penciler and the writer and the editor, making sure that everyone's happy. So there you have it. That's all the cards. So I'm gonna fan it through it one more time, just like trading cards. There's 1, 2, 3. Thank you all for joining me on this live stream. I hope you enjoy this content. It's gonna be a while before I do the stream. Maybe because if I ink a full commission, it takes a little bit longer. These trading cards are a little bit faster. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you, Music House. I talked to Chris Meriden to try the Pinto Aqua Brush now. Oh, I'm glad you like the Aqua Brush. That's like a really, really good brush that's really cheap and you can do like a lot of work with it. Okay. And here's the rest. Please hit like, share, subscribe to my channel. Check out my other pages. If you're interested in Patreon, also check out my Patreon, patreon.com/WaldenWongArt. Again, you can also check my website. My website is waldenwongart.com. Once you go there, you can see all the links to all my other social media sites as well as Patreon. You can also buy prints as well as original art on my website. So check that out. Also, video links and gallery and lots of fun stuff that you can look at there. That was really fun. Thank you, Joe. Great to hang out with you. Thank you all for hanging out with me. So I'll see you next time. Take care and have a good rest of the weekend. Bye, everyone. Bye, guys.